Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Draw Talk, where we draw and talk at the same time. It's Lutjan here, and in this episode we're going to talk a lot about solo leveling. I hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's start. So we have 7 panels in total to draw. So first of all, I always start by drawing my characters. So here we're gonna start with Stefano, my main character, and as promised, we're going to get to the main subject, which is solo leveling, which is currently getting season 2 adapted in anime, and we're going to talk both about the anime and about the webtoon. Don't worry, I'm going to warn you if there is a spoiler. When I wanted to do my webcomic, solo leveling was the proof that in webtoon you could do something else than romance and comedy, which was kind of a relief for me because my story was more of a shonen type, if I can say it that way. So yeah, let's do an analysis of solo leveling real quick, because I think I have so many little details that I can bring, and I think that you may have not noticed them. First of all, if you look at the world building, the entire hunter system is a metaphor of the power that you have on the society. I feel like the economic power and much more, but mostly economic. In reality, I feel like the South Korean society is a society of castes, and this idea of a caste society is reflected by the fact that you cannot change your rank. And one thing that I found very interesting with the world building of solo leveling is that when you start seeing everything through this angle, you start understanding some events in the story differently. As an example, at the beginning you can see many times, it happens many times, lower ranks hunters gotta hunt each others. And on the other side of the spectrum you have the high ranks people. They are interesting because they are above the law. I'm gonna say it. And this is why solo leveling for me is the story of someone that has nothing, is poor and has no power in society, and how he's going to become the absolute opposite, someone powerful, someone we can say power hungry, and on the top of the society. What made Sung Jin-woo come from the weakest to the strongest? Try to find the answer. For me, it's obvious. It's the fact that he was ready to do anything to accomplish his goal. Because if you look at powerful people in real life, what made them come to the top? Was it because they're the son of someone or something like this? I mean, not really. Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, I'd say it's because they are ready to do anything to come to the top, and this is what bring them to where they are. If you look at billionaires from America like Elon Musk, they are not afraid of doing anything they do because they don't really care about the consequences. They are ready to do anything. That said, we can both agree that this is really not how Sung is at the beginning of the story, but what is different then? I think that he's ready to do anything, but not to get money and power, but he's ready to do anything to save other people. By the way, this is, I think, why he sacrifices himself at the beginning of the story, right? It's actually to save people, and especially coming in his mind, he's ready to do anything to save his mother and his sister. This is why he starts the grind. But the more the story progresses, the more we can say that there is kind of a shift. When he starts being on the grind, after that he doesn't really stop. And I think this is because he starts enjoying the grind in itself. And this is what is kind of interesting, because I guess in real life it can happen that some billionaires at first did what they did because they had to get out of poverty or something like this, and down the road somewhere they shifted as well and they became power hungry, I'd say. And so they never stopped getting more and more power, and as if they stopped, it would all collapse. This is what I think solo leveling is interesting in the character of Sung Jin Woo. And the key moment where I lost interest in solo leveling, and this is a real big spoiler by the way, it's the moment where he had to choose between staying in the raid or saving his sister, and he did both, which made no sense for me. Because if it was to show to the readers that it was like kind of a feat of power, he just did that in the previous arc. So it made no sense to put him in the dilemma again, and he can succeed on everything. It would have been way more interesting that his sister dies, for example, and he realizes that he isn't that much affected, or maybe he is affected, but he doesn't stop the grind nonetheless. So if you guys have read the webtoon till the end, tell me if you feel the same way, because I felt like solo leveling had a lot of meaning, and at some point it lost its substance. Am I right? Here I'm showing you my little secret. I've drawn every ball once, and so this is my document where I keep every ball that I've drawn, so I can just reuse them every time I need. I've just finished these two panels using the balls that I've made on the other document. So I have two other shots like this left to do. While doing them, I wanted to add something about solo leveling on the anime. I wanted to focus the subject on the anime because I've watched the second season recently and it wasn't bad at all, but I have an issue with it, which is on the dialogues. It's not that they're bad, it's actually pretty much the same than on the webtoon. The only problem is that what solo leveling made really well was that they added a lot of intensity on each dialogues. This is one of the greatest points about solo leveling. It was that when two characters were talking, you could feel the stakes, the intensity, the pressure, everything. And this was given to the reader through the drawings. A simple dialogue scene could become something really that invests the reader. For me, one of the greatest examples is chapter 60. The angles on the point of views were always changing, and sometimes even there was some perspective on some dialogues. It made it so dynamic that you don't even feel like you're reading a dialogue scene. It feels more like you're reading a combat scene actually. And I think we can say that generally solo leveling has been a great inspiration for me on the visual aspect too. By the way, I want to show you real quick. As you can see, most of my drawings are made from sketches on paper, and then I scan them and I put them on computer, and then I do it digitally. The black line are added afterwards, just to make it a little bit more clear and easy to read, because sometimes my sketches are a bit rough to see through. So we were talking about the dialogues on Solo Leveling, and I just want to add something, is that Solo Leveling has actually the best line of dialogue on every piece of media ever. Wanna know which one it is? Okay, I'm gonna do it for you. Hey dude. Yeah, what? Nothing, forget it. Isn't it just amazing? It sounds so natural, but at the same time you cannot do a dialogue that leads to nothing in a story, because every dialogue counts. It must build a story, it must build something. And what's so crazy about it is that even if it leads up to nothing, it actually does something, because it's so natural that it makes us like a character. I think that I have a lot to learn from such lines. The shadows are so bad on this one. I guess we're gonna keep it like this because I'm too lazy to make it again. Alright, I think it's almost over. Yeah, I really like the results. There are still some stuff to do. Of course, the speech bubbles and the onomatopoeia. Of course, never forget about them. Here, of course, there is going to be some text, and it's not over. Here, I'm going to do the background now. I think this is now the right time to talk about this video, because I think I've watched the previous episode of Draw Talk, and really the concept I think is good, but I kind of lost myself in the process of talking, and I went really in every direction possible. So I want to keep this video really clear with one topic, and we stick to it, and it's way more simple. So of course, since we're improving from video to video, I couldn't do it without your feedback, so you're always welcome to have to give feedback. And despite the last episode not as good as I wanted it to be, it did good results on the views. 1K view. It's actually my best ever, so thank you for that. And don't worry, even if I'm late on this episode, I didn't give up. So this is it for today's Draw Talk. I'm waiting for your feedback to improve and get better, and I hope you liked what I've said about Solo Leveling. What do you think? Is it accurate? Is it not? And so we'll see you again for another episode, and by then, stay tuned.